Hi you guys, welcome back to my channel. It is Julia Creations and I'm back with another video. If you're new here, welcome in. Hi budget babes, hi budget bros. This is going to be my first video inside of my new office, you guys. I can't wait to show you guys the tour of everything and how it came out. That will be my next video. As you guys can see, my posting schedule has been all over the place. So now that I'm settled into my new office, hopefully we can get back to regular program scheduling. I also do want to mention I didn't do my budget wrap-up video for YouTube. Usually when I do my personal budget, I do a wrap-up video. I did not do a wrap-up video this time, you guys, because I actually did my wrap-up in shorts. I kind of did a different system than I normally did. I wanted to sit down and kind of just sit with my budget and go over my goals for the new year. Sometimes I get so caught up in doing everybody else's budget that I don't really sit down with myself 100% the way I want to, just kind of think about my goals for the next month, wrap up the month. It was kind of just a moment with myself for once, which, you know, all of my budgets are posted on YouTube, so that doesn't change. But I did put it in a form of a short, so you guys can watch that short if you do want to see that. In today's video, I did have a client that recently purchased a planner, and she wants me to do a weekly budget and talk about different ways to set up a weekly budget. So I'm going to be showing up a weekly budget that I have created before for a client, showing the process of how we would stem through this. And of course, everybody's budget is going to be different. So if you're new here, guys, welcome to my channel. I am a financial coach that teaches people how to get their budget and finances on track. I do have a few different topics that I want to talk about with this upcoming year coming up, about like what to do with your tax returns, things like that. So be on the lookout for a video like that. I did also get a lot of requests about talking about credit cards and how to deal with credit cards and put that into your budget and your perspective, because I want you guys to live a credit card life where you can actually enjoy your credit card. So I will be making content related to that as well. If there's anything else that you guys want me to discuss, make sure you add that in the description box, or in the not the description box, in the comments below, because my goal is to make your finances easier for you. So if there's any advice or things that you need that I can give you to make this a smoother process for you, never hesitate to ask me, you guys. That's what I'm here for. All right, anyway, let's jump straight into it. We're going to be doing a weekly budget with the pink limited edition budget planner. Yellow budget planners will be restocking on Valentine's Day, so make sure you guys go to the link in the description to make sure you're set up to be notified when they restock. But let's jump straight into it. Alright, you guys, so the first thing we always do, of course, is set up our calendar. We're going to write down our bills and expenses that come out for each month, the pay periods we have on here. So we're going to go through and set up our calendar. I think in the last video you guys liked me walking through instead of doing the speed up, so I'm just going to do the walkthrough process instead of time elapsing this from my last video. So I'm going to go ahead and do that same process. So we're going to go ahead and write in our dates. We're doing the month of February still. February just started a few days ago, but I will be pushing out February budgets all month so you can see how to set up your budget and adjust it. Also, if you are needing your own personalized budget, make sure you guys go to the description box and book your one-on-one calls so we can get your finances on track moving forward. Alright, you guys, so once we go ahead and write in our dates, we're going to go ahead and write in our paydays next. The paydays are very important, so I'm going to go ahead and put payday and how much you're bringing in. This is a weekly pay on Friday, so we're going to be bringing in $550 weekly. $550. Payday $550. All right, and then we're gonna go ahead and put on our budget. This is gonna be for the month of February. Our budget goal is to pay off debt and build our savings. All right, and we're bringing in a weekly pay of $550. 550 times 4. is going to be $2,200 after tax. $2,200 our monthly income. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and write down all of our bills and expenses in our calendar. So we have on the 1st, we have our rent due, which is going to be $377 for our rent. On the 1st, we also have our utilities coming out, which is going to be $100. And then we also have our Wi-Fi on the 1st as well for $100. Right. And then on the 10th, we have car insurance for $125. On the 18th, we have a car payment for $215. And then we have our phone bill on the 20th, which is going to be $75. And then on the 22nd, we have a medical bill, which is going to be $105. And then we just have one credit card, which is a Capital One, which is going to be $102 for that Capital One credit card. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and write all of our bills on our fixed section, and then we're going to put our variables in here. And then we did have a few subscriptions, so let me not forget the subscriptions. We have a subscription that comes out on the 11th for $4. And then we had a subscription that came out on the 26th for $17. And then we had a subscription on the 20th for $17. And then we also had a subscription on the 15th for $10. Okay. All right, you guys, so now all we're doing is just writing those fixed bills on our fixed side here. So we got 2-1, which is going to be rent for $377. Utility, which is going to be $100. And 2-1, we got Wi-Fi, which is going to be $38. And 2-10, we got car insurance, which is going to be $125. And we have on the 18th, we have a car payment, which is going to be $215. Then 220, we have a phone bill, which is going to be $75. And then 222, we have medical, which is going to be $105. Okay, now let's go ahead and add in our variables. Our variables are going to be our expenses that vary each month. So groceries, gas, eating out, personal care, entertainment, things like that. So for gas, we're averaging about $120 a month. Groceries, we're averaging about $200 a month. Then we have our Capital One credit card, which is $102, our only credit card. And then we have subscriptions that total to $54 per month. And then we have eating out for $75. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and add this up and see what we total to for the month. So let's go ahead and start with our fix. We got $377 plus 100 plus 38 plus 125 plus 215 plus 75 plus 105 is going to be $1035 for our fix. All right, now let's go ahead and add up our variables. We got gas for $120, groceries for $200, Capital One for $102, subscriptions for $54, and eating out for $75. Our variable side is going to total to $551. $551 plus $1035 is going to be $15.86. All right, so we want to figure out how much money we have left over after bills and expenses. To get this number, we're going to take $2,200, which is our income, and we're going to minus it from our expenses. So the formula is going to be income for the month minus our expenses, what's coming in and what's going out. So we have roughly about $614 left over. Okay, so now we want to see where we have that leftover money. So we're going to go ahead and set up a weekly budget to convert this over and see what's coming out each week. All right, you guys, so we're going to start with the week of January 19th to January 26th, and I'll talk about why we're starting there in a second. And then we're going to do January 27th to February 2nd, and then we're going to do February 3rd to February 9th, and then we're going to do February 10th to February 16th, and February 17th to February 23rd, and February 24th to March 2nd. Okay. All right, so now we're gonna go ahead and set up our week sub. And I know you guys are thinking, well, Julia, the January paycheck, the paycheck you started with is going to be the paycheck of $124. And I know you guys are thinking, why am I bringing the paycheck of $124 out if we're going into February? Because our rent is $377, our utilities is $100, and our Wi-Fi is $100, right? We're not able to I'm sorry guys, Wi-Fi should have been $38. Oopsie, let me fix this. Wi-Fi is $38. Utilities, rent, utilities, and Wi-Fi, that's still a big chunk of money from our payday. So what we would have to use, we're gonna use our previous payday to cover some bills. So we're gonna use payday 124 to cover rent. So we basically will have to always use our second to last check of the month to cover our rent so we don't get behind. Okay, because we have too much going on right here, and you're gonna see what I mean by that when we break down the budget, you guys. So the payday of 124, we're gonna for sure have to pay the rent for 377. So we're gonna go ahead and put rent for 377 is what will need to be paid. Also, let's see what we have. The 24th basically would have had a subscription come out in January for the 26th. So remember, this is the payday of January 24th all the way to the 31st, to January 31st is basically what we need to cover. So we have to cover our subscription that will come out on the 26th of the month, which will be $17. Now let's go ahead and look at our budget. If we have gas here for $120 a month, 120 divided by 4, that's about $30 weekly for gas is what we're averaging in our budget, okay? And then groceries, we're spending $200 a month, which is about $50 weekly for groceries. Sorry guys, let me get closer. $50 weekly. And then eating out, about $75 per month, so that's about $18 weekly. So think about it like this. If this is our average for our variables each week, right? If this is what we're averaging each week, how would we be able to cover our rent, our utilities, and our Wi-Fi all on one check? So that's why we had to think ahead, and that's why we use this payday to cover the rent in advance, okay? So we're gonna go ahead and add this up. So we're gonna put 377 is our total for our fixed bills, and then we have our subscriptions, which are gonna be 17 plus 30 plus 50 plus 18 is going to be 115. All right, 115 plus 377 is going to be $492. From this paycheck, we brought $550 in. Excuse me, you guys, bless me. All right, 550 minus 492. We would basically have $58 in our savings until we get paid again. $58 in our savings. Formula simple, 550 minus 492. That's where we got the $58 from. So remember, sometimes you need to use a leaning paycheck to cover the previous bills. Let's keep going. All right, you guys, so I did grab out my highlighters. So we're going to use our highlighters to get through here to go to the next week. So the next payday we're going to start with is going to be the payday of the 31st. So we have a payday 31st, everything from the 31st until basically the payday of the 7th. I'm going to go ahead and section this off. Cover everything from that time frame, section it off. Okay. And then we'll go ahead and use a green highlighter. That was the payday of the 24th. Just to section it off. And that payday covered the rent. So rent won't be covered with this paycheck. Alright. So the paycheck that we're faced with right here, we are for sure going to pay the utility bill, which is $100. So we're going to go ahead in our bill section. We're going to go ahead and write down utility $100. And then our Wi-Fi is $38. So Wi-Fi just going to be $38. And then let's see here. Do we have any subscriptions that fall through that I'm missing? It looks like we had a subscription that was due on the first two for $7. So let me put that on here. Subscription $7. My bad, you guys. Subscription $7. And that math is still right. The subscription still totaled to $54 because I have it written in the budget I did before. So subscription we'll put here is $7 for this week. And that's basically all we're going to cover bill wise for this week. So we have our utilities, our Wi-Fi, our subscription that's coming out, and then remember our stuff that repeats again. So we're going to go ahead and put gas, $30, groceries, $50, eating out, $18. All right, so I'm gonna go ahead and do $138 for our fixed category, and then our subscriptions we got $7 plus $30 plus $50 plus 18 is going to be $105. All right, and this was the payday of, let's see what our payday was, the 31st. 131st, $550 came in. Our total of expenses, $105 plus $138. Our expenses totaled to $243. The formula we're going to do is going to be $550 minus $243. $550 minus $243. $307 goes in our savings this week. Okay. And that's how much you will save this week. Now we're going to go to our next payday of the 7th and plan for that one. Alright, you guys, so if we're paid on the 7th, here is our payday. We have to cover everything from the 7th all the way until the 14th, basically. Go ahead and section this off. Alright. Now let's go ahead and see what we have here. So we're going to go ahead on our payday spot. We're going to go ahead and put the payday of 500,027 because it's our first paycheck of February, and we're going to be bringing in $550. All right, so now we want to go ahead and write out what stuff's going to be coming out again. So we have our Capital One credit card, which is going to be a $102 minimum. So go ahead and put Capital One $102 minimum that we're going to be paying out of this check. All right, the next thing we have is car insurance for $125 is going to go on our fixed side. So car insurance is the bill we have to pay this week, $125. And then we also have a subscription of $4. Subscription, which is going to be $4. And that's all for our main bills. Now we're going to do our stuff that repeats again. So once again, guys, gas $120 a month, that's $30 weekly. So we're doing a weekly budget. So gas will be $30 weekly, groceries $50 weekly, and then eating out $18. Now let's go ahead and add this up and see how much we spent for the week. So the first thing we're going to do is go through and write down how much our bills were. So $125 for our fix. Now let's go ahead and add up our variables. 102 plus 4 plus 30 plus 50 plus 18. We basically have 204 for our variables. 204 plus 125. Our expenses for the week total to $329. So we got paid $550 is our income that came in. Our expenses were $329 in total for the week. $550 minus $329 is going to be $221 that goes in our savings for this week. And that's how we set up a weekly budget with our paycheck. So simple, so easy. All right, you guys, now we made it through our first 2 paychecks of the month, payday number 1, payday number 2. The paycheck of the 31st lands on January, but it's technically our first paycheck of February because we don't get paid again till the 7th. So now we're going to go through and section off our next week. So we have our payday on the 14th. And we got to cover everything from the 14th basically to the 21st. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and put our payday of the 14th on our next section here. Payday 214. I'm gonna be bringing in $550. $550. What's going to be coming out this week? So it looks like we have a subscription for $10 that we're going to be paying. Subscription $10. And we have a car payment for $215. Okay. And then we have our phone bill for $75. Okay, and then we have another subscription for $17. Usually I just add the subscriptions together, but I wasn't thinking. And then you guys, we're gonna go ahead and pay our medical off because our medical is going to fall on that paycheck where we have to do a duplicate of this week. So we don't want to have rent and the medical on one paycheck again. Remember, you guys, the next following week is going to look exactly like our payday of the 124. So we're going to go ahead and just pay the medical in advance. So I can go ahead and put medical. For 105. And that's everything we're covering in that lighter pink. And then we're gonna do our stuff that repeats again, you guys. So remember, we had gas, which is $30 per week. So easy, so simple to follow. Groceries, $50. And eating out for $18. Okay, let's go ahead and add it up and see what we total to for this week. All right, 215 plus 75 plus 105. Our fixed total to 395. And our variables 10 plus 17 plus 30 plus 50 plus 18. 125 plus 395 is going to be 520 this week. So a little tighter. We're gonna go ahead and do 550 minus it from 520. We basically have $30 left over until we get paid again, which will just go in our savings. So simple and so easy. Okay. All right, you guys, and just like that, this week right here, the payday of the 21st is going to literally be a duplicate of this week because it is a weekly budget, you guys. So the same bills will be coming out again. Remember how I said the 24th? You guys were wondering why we said it with the 24th paycheck? Because that paycheck covers the first bills of this upcoming month, so we're not behind. So basically the 28th check is going to be a duplicate of the 31st check moving forward as well. So all we're going to do for the 21st paycheck is literally write a duplicate of the first paycheck we had because all those same bills come out again. So if you want to color coordinate it again, you can just go ahead and section it off. We'll go ahead and use another color coordinating highlighter. I know some of you guys are very visual learners, so we'll go ahead and put it like that. We got the rent on the first for $377. Utilities $100. Wi-Fi $38. Okay. And same exact thing, you guys. That subscription's gonna come out again for $17. So go ahead and put payday 21st. $550 again. We'll have our rent for $377. It's going to be our only fixed bill because we paid the medical in advance. Our subscription for $17. And you see everything's color coordinated, so you can see. So there's the rent, the subscription, and you see it's literally a duplicate of the previous week. So gas again for $30. Groceries $50. And then eating out $18. Okay, let's go ahead and add that up and see what we total to. 17 plus 30 plus 50 plus 18. It's gonna be 115. 115 plus 377. Our expenses total to 492. Literally a duplicate of the previous week. We're gonna put $58 in our savings. so simple, so easy, you guys. Literally love how easy the templates are to follow. Like, I literally just get so much joy seeing it just broken down nicely. All right, you guys, so now we want to figure out what our cash surplus is. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to add up our savings that we had. So the first week we put $58 in our savings. So 58. The second week we put 307. The third week we put 221. And the last week we put $30. So technically we saved $616. According to our budget, we were supposed to have $614 left over. We had additional $2 because eating out was supposed to be like 18.5 weekly. So that little percentage, we got an extra $2 for the eating out. So our total is $616 that we have left over, and our goal is to use that $616 to pay off our debt. So let's go ahead and set up our debt tracker to pay off our debt with the money we have left over. All right, you guys, so now we're going to go ahead and set up our debt tracker page because our goal is to pay off our debt. So we're going to go ahead, let me zoom in here so it's a little bit better for you guys. So in the debt tracker, I'm going to read what it is just in case you guys can't see it that clear. I don't know why my camera is like not focusing the best way that it should, but let's go ahead and zoom in. Okay, so our debt tracker is going to be our payments where we keep track of our debt payments that we're doing. So what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to put that as Capital One. Remember, we had one card that was in our budget was the Capital One card. The starting balance for the Capital One is a $1,500 balance. So $1,500 is the starting balance. All right, the credit limit, I don't know that information. I don't know the interest rate, but I do know we're paying a $102 minimum each month on it, and our goal is to pay this off by May. So how are we going to stick to our goal to pay off our debt by May? We're going to use the money we had left over. So remember, our cash surplus was the money we had saved from each paycheck. So our cash surplus totaled at the end of the month to $616. So we're going to break this $616 and we're going to put $400 of this towards debt. And we're going to put the other $216 in our savings. Because remember, that goal was to pay off debt and build our savings. Okay. So now we're going to go ahead and set up our debt payoff plan. So if we put $400 towards our debt, we're going to take $1,500 and we're going to divide it by 4. It would take roughly, we're going to take $1,500 and divide it by $400. Is roughly going to take about 4 months to pay off. So our goal is to pay this off in 4 months. So how would we do that? At the end of each month, the first month for 2/28, we're going to be putting $400 towards debt. All right, so we're going to be putting $400 extra towards our debt. So our starting balance is going to be $1,500. If we put $1,500 as our starting balance and we're taking $400 away, that is going to bring our balance down to $1,100. I know you guys are thinking, Julia, what about that $102 minimum? That $102 minimum is going to be covering our interest. So this will be extra money that we're putting on there. And then remember, we're going to be putting $216 in our savings each month as well. So that gives us that full $616 that we had in our savings, or that money that was left over from each paycheck. All right. So when we get to March, so January, February, March, we're going to be putting $400 again, and we're going to repeat this cycle all the way until we pay off the debt. So minus $400, and then remember, guys, you're going to put the balance here, $700. Okay, and then we're going to do this again in April 30th. We're going to put $400. And this is the extra payment that we're putting, and we're still putting that $216 in our savings. So I'm going to just put that so you guys can see the savings slowly building. And then we're going to take the $700 and we're going to minus it from the $400 because that is the balance left on the card, and that's the payment we're putting towards the card. So initially, you guys, we could have left have more money left over because we are putting additional minimum, but we just want to cover for interest. So 700 minus 400 is going to be $300. And then we're going to go ahead and do 5/30 first because we'll now be in May. I'm going to take the $400 and pay it off. So we'll take 400 minus it from 300, and then plus the savings, we'll have 316 in our savings because we're already putting 216 in our savings, and 400 minus 300 is $100 in our savings. Okay, so then we'll officially be debt free. Literally that easy and simple. All right, you guys, so let's take a look at everything we did here. Love this budget so much, such a good one. So the first thing we did was set up our calendar. We wrote down all of our bills and expenses in here. Then we went through and set up our monthly budget. What do we plan to spend for the month, so we can see an actual overview of those numbers. Then we broke it down to a paycheck budget. What will be coming out for each paycheck and how much do we get to put in our savings. We basically took the savings from each paycheck and added it up, and we used that money to pay off our debt. And here is our debt payoff plan. Literally that simple, that easy. So now we're going to expense track to make sure we're staying on track with our budget, and we're going to make sure we do a reality check at the end of the month to make sure we stay to our budget, and we'll put that additional money in our savings each month. So if you guys like this video, you find it helpful, make sure you guys hit that like button, make sure you subscribe to the channel. And if you are interested in getting your own budget planner, make sure you guys shop juliacreations.com, or if you are interested in getting a personalized budget set up for yourself, make sure you guys book a consultation below. Thank you guys again for watching. I hope this budget was helpful and inspired somebody else that may be in a same or similar position. All right, my loves, have a great day. Bye.